a video that began trending online after this story came out, and this person posted that video with this caption.
Do you think Nigeria should become a Sharia nation?
That is my ambition, and that is the ambition of every Muslim in this country.
Everyone is a creature of God. And if you think you are truly religious, you must love the other creatures of God. Because you did not give life to anyone. You cannot create a human being. It is God who created all of us.
Slavery is not something that Muslims should be ashamed of. Slavery in Islam is true. Prisoners of wars, non-Muslims, disbelievers, we enslave them.
Everyone is a creature of God. And if you think you are truly religious, you must love the other creatures of God.
IBRAHIM Traoré is a symbol. And a symbol is part of the system.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Plan B TV News. I'm going to play you guys two videos, and this particular, more than two videos anyway. Now, Burkina Faso rejected Sharia law, while Nigerians are implementing Sharia law, imposing Sharia law all over the place. They are done with the Northern and they are forcing it on the Yorubas and none of that. But then, I want you guys to watch this particular documentary of how Burkina Faso from 2021 fought their way into military regime, and now they are well developed and every Western eyes is on their country development. And I want you guys to watch this documentary. Then we'll be right back to talk about Nigeria, the Sharia, and how the Burkina Faso president, rejected Sharia law.
Soldier is handed a rifle carved from wood, not in 1987, not in 1990, in 2021, while his country burns. Burkina Faso, thousands dead, over 1 million people running from their own homes, a quarter of the entire country no longer answering to its own government, and the men sent to stop it were training with sticks shaped like guns. Sit with that for 1 second, because 3 years later, that same country would be flying Chinese armor across its deserts, Turkish drones in its skies, a homegrown armored vehicle built by Burkinabe, hands rolling out in front of the world. What happened in between is one of the most extraordinary military transformations Africa has seen in this generation. And it started with a 34-year-old captain who almost didn't survive his own war. Stay with us, because by the end of this, you'll understand why capitals in Europe are holding emergency meetings about a country most people couldn't find on a map 3 years ago. This is the story of how Burkina Faso built an army from nothing and why the whole world is suddenly paying attention. Let's rewind. Before we talk about tanks and drones, we need to talk about the trap. Because Burkina Faso soldiers weren't unarmed by accident. They were unarmed by design. There's a regional rule in West Africa, a convention signed by ECOWAS back in 2006, built on an even older 1998 moratorium. The rule was simple on paper. No member state moves small arms and light weapons freely. Every transfer needs approval. The idea, in theory, was good. Stop weapons from flowing to warlords and rebels across borders. But here's the catch. If a government wanted to arm its own soldiers, it had to ask permission first. Send a formal request. List every weapon, every serial number, every supplier. Wait for it to circulate to other member states. Wait for no objections. Wait for a certificate. Meanwhile, terrorist networks armed by transnational smugglers weren't waiting for anybody's approval. While Ouagadougou filled out paperwork, insurgents in the north were being resupplied within days. This is the part most people never hear. A convention built to protect West Africa from illegal arms became, in practice, a cage that kept a legitimate government from defending its own people. And into that cage walked a young soldier who had already bled for his country once. His name is IBRAHIM Traoré. Before the uniform, before the war, he was a student of geology at the University of Ouagadougou, graduated with honors in 2009. A young man who joined student associations, defended his classmates in disputes, and studied the ground beneath his country's feet, never knowing that ground would one day become his greatest weapon. That same year, he chose the army instead of a laboratory. He trained at the Georges Namoano Military Academy, sent to Morocco for anti-aircraft training, then deployed straight to Kaya, a frontline town in the north, where the insurgency was already tightening its grip. By 2014, he was a lieutenant. By 2015, he was serving with the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Mali, standing shoulder to shoulder with soldiers from across the region against the same enemy eating away at the Sahel. In 2018, During a major rebel assault in the Tombouctou region, he was cited for exceptional courage. In 2019, he fought in the Otapuanu offensive, one counter-insurgency operation after another, each one chipping away at him. Look at his right hand. Look at the scars on his face. Those aren't decorations. Those are receipts. Paid in blood on the front lines for a war his own government kept underfunding. And somewhere in those years, something in him changed. He watched soldiers die holding equipment that should have been retired a decade earlier. He watched money meant for the front lines disappear into pockets far from any battlefield. He became, without asking for the role, the voice of frustrated soldiers in the north, men who had nothing left to lose because they had already lost everything. In January 2022, when a transition brought a new leader, Paul Henry Sandaogo Damiba, to power, Traore allowed himself to hope. Maybe now the soldiers get their weapons. Maybe now the front line gets the attention it's owed. 8 months passed. And what did the soldiers get? Not rifles. Not reinforcements. They watched their new leader welcome back Blaise Compaoré, the very man linked to the killing of Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary icon. A man whose name was, for millions of Burkinabe, synonymous with everything sold out, everything stolen, everything betrayed. While soldiers were bleeding in the north with wooden rifles still fresh in memory, a symbol of everything the nation had fought to bury was being welcomed home with open arms. Then came the convoy attack. 27 soldiers, 10 civilians, gone in a single ambush in the north. For men who had already buried too many brothers, this was the breaking point. On September 30th, 2022, with the backing of the Cobra Special Forces unit, the movement to reclaim the country's direction began. 3 weeks later, on October 21st, 2022, IBRAHIM Traoré stood before his country as interim president. 34 years old, the youngest head of state on the planet. His first words carried none of the polish of career politicians, only the weight of a man who had already watched too many friends die. We are confronted with a security and humanitarian crisis without precedent, he said. Our aim is nothing less than the reconquest of every inch of territory occupied by these hordes of terrorists. Burkina's existence is in danger. No ceremony, no time to waste, because the walls were already closing in. Here's where the story turns. Because taking power didn't open any doors, it slammed almost every single one shut. ECOWAS, the same bloc holding the arms exemption process hostage for years, condemned the transition outright. Sanctions followed, and with those sanctions came a threat that mattered more than any diplomatic statement. Cut off from ECOWAS approval, Burkina Faso couldn't legally import weapons. Full stop. Even if a supplier somewhere in the world was willing to sell, the shipment could be stopped at any port, any border crossing, any customs checkpoint across the bloc. The very mechanism meant to keep illegal weapons out of West Africa was now the mechanism keeping a government from arming its own defenders. And it didn't stop there. Most Western nations weren't interested in supplying Burkina Faso either. Not after Traoré severed ties with France and asked French troops to leave the country they had occupied for so long. Old partners became closed doors. Every traditional route to weapons blocked. Picture that for a second. You are the president of a country losing a quarter of its territory to terrorism. Your soldiers are dying with equipment older than some of them. And every single door the old world order built for you has just been slammed shut in your face.
When we say ECOWAS, it's actually the French who are there, who give the authorization to acquire certain weapons or not. We didn't want to go through that channel. So, our transactions were also blocked with various arguments that don't hold up.
Most leaders in that position fold. Traoré didn't fold. He looked underground. Literally. Remember the geology degree? Remember the years spent studying what lies beneath Burkinabe soil? Gold. Burkina Faso's gold had been leaving the country for years, enriching companies abroad, while ordinary Burkinabe watched their national wealth disappear over the horizon. Traoré made a decision that stunned everyone watching. He stopped the gold from leaving. No exemption certificate, no export. Weeks passed. International mining companies, most of them Western, began pressuring their own governments. ECOWAS pressured Traoré to relent. The same old playbook. Squeeze the leader until he breaks. But this time, something different happened. The weapons arrived.
So here we are, the war is happening and we want drones, we want weapons, but we can't get them. And at that time, diplomats came to tell us that we had better change things because we wouldn't even be able to pay salaries by March. I said, there's no problem. So one day I had all gold production from all the mines blocked.
Burkina Faso's own mineral wealth, used for the very first time not to enrich a foreign boardroom, but to protect Burkinabe soldiers and Burkinabe villages. a nation's ground beneath its feet, finally working for the people standing on it.
I gathered everything and told the partner to come and collect the gold and send us our drones. That's what we did. Our drones came, they took their gold and they left. We need money, we need someone. So gold is important. People need gold and we need something in this world. Anyway, it's not a way of saying how people are going to handle things, but it does take courage, that's true.
This was the first crack in the cage, but it was only the beginning of what would follow. Now that the deadlock was broken, Traore went looking for new partners. Not old colonial patrons dressed up as allies. Not anyone offering help with conditions attached. China answered first. Armored vehicles began arriving. CS/VP-14 mine-resistant vehicles. WZ-551 armored carriers. Then heavier systems still. Turkey followed, offering something that had already reshaped battlefields from Libya to Ukraine. The Bayraktar TB2 drone. Precision strike capability from the sky, something Burkina Faso's insurgents had never had to worry about before. And then came the meeting that made headlines around the world. Months into his presidency, Traore traveled to St. Petersburg for the second Russia-Africa summit. He walked in wearing military fatigues, not a suit. A deliberate message. This was a war leader, not a diplomat playing dress-up. There, he sat across from Vladimir Putin. And Putin, according to reports, offered him Wagner Group fighters, foreign paramilitaries to help clean up the insurgency. Here's the moment that surprised everyone in that room. Traore said no, not to cooperation with Russia, not to weapons, not to training, not to partnership, but to foreign boots doing the fighting for his people. The fight belongs to Burkina Faso's people, he said, and they will wage it to the end. Later, speaking on Burkinabe national television, he was even more direct. I am satisfied with our cooperation with Russia, but our soldiers fight alone. Reports of a foreign combat presence are intended to hurt Burkina Faso so that other countries will hesitate to work with us. Read between those lines for a second. He wasn't rejecting help, he was rejecting dependency. There is a difference between a partner and a patron. Traore understood that difference better than most leaders twice his age. And what he built next would prove it. Because while Putin was offering foreign fighters, Traore was already building something Wagner could never replace. An army made entirely of Burkinabe hands. There was already a foundation to build on. Back in 2019, under the previous government, a local self-defense militia had been formed, the Volunteers for the Defense of the Homeland, the VDP. For years they were an afterthought, poorly armed, poorly trained, a backup plan, not a strategy. Traore looked at that same organization and saw something else entirely. In his very first month in...
Now you watch the video. Burkina Faso have been in existence for years. Not 1 year, not 2 years, for years. They have fought for democracy. You see how the French have been suffering these people, taking off their treasury. This man within the short space and feast their own country. Now, Saudi Arabia, remember, say, oh, Burkina Faso is the country. Propose to them that they want to build 200 mosques in their country and impose Sharia. And I want you guys to watch IBRAHIM TRAORÉ, what he responded back to them. Those are imposing mosque or religious sector, and those that are studying Sharia, and those people that are saying that religion or whatever they're doing with religion in his own country. I want you guys to watch his response.
Everyone is a creature of God. And if you think you are truly religious, you must love the other creatures of God. Because you did not give life to anyone. You cannot create a human being. It is God who created all of us. You do not have the ability to create a human being, and yet you want to kill someone just because they do not follow you in your life. Why? But ask yourself the right question. Are we cursed? But if you look at the history of Christianity, many people in Europe are Christians and all that. In 2026, do you hear about anyone wanting to kill his brother because of a disagreement from the West, because of religion? He doesn't love his brother, he wants to kill his brother. Have you heard that anywhere? Go to Saudi Arabia, which is the very cradle of Islam. Today in Saudi Arabia, do people fight? Do they want to kill each other because someone else isn't Muslim? But why is it that we as black people are so often ready to hate our own brothers? And even ready to kill them just because we think it's serious? It is truly a tragic situation. Why are you ready to kill them when you are not even capable of giving life? And you know very well that God forbids you to kill. True Muslims, when a mosquito bites them, they don't even have the right to kill it. They have to catch it and cut off one of its wings. That's what it said. So stop that. Instead of filling your heads with this, yes, it is said you are fighting Islam. If that's it, if that's what your Islam is, then we will fight against it. This really isn't just about him at all. Many people often claim that it's a religion centered on peace. But you extremists, you need to get a grip. If you don't get a grip, in any case, the fight has begun. That's what led to terrorism. It's extremism. Who says no? The other one, he must be killed. Because why? No, please take it easy, take it easy. Believe it or not, there are even some people out there just like that. Absolutely every single thing they might want to do, they say, oh no, that's only for the kafirs. That is strictly for the kafir. Now, Morel, since you were the one who made all of this happen, what do you have to say about that? I'm saying it because it's true. We really left it on a cliffhanger. About what? About preaching. And it will continue. If people keep going, it will continue. We will suspend them from preaching if someone just goes off randomly. And that's where I want to say again that I congratulate all those imams, brave, dignified, and patriotic, who continue to preach the good word and awaken people's consciences. We see many of them and we congratulate them, we encourage them. But the extremists, we will fight them. If you think you can live in the 7th century, then go. Find a bush, sit there and live. Because normally, everything is haram.
Now, you listen to what he said. After he said all of this, though it translated, the actual video was in French. With AI, people turn it to English so that everybody will understand. Now, I want you guys to listen to how the Arise TV News of Nigeria reacted to this particular video. We'll be right back.
A video that began trending online after this story came out, and this person posted that video with this caption. He wrote, "No Sharia law in Burkina Faso, Traore. I am a Muslim, but everyone in Burkina Faso has the right to practice their own religion. There will never be a Sharia law in this country. To those Burkinabe studying Sharia law in Saudi Arabia, do not return to Burkina Faso. Instead of acquiring technological knowledge and skills that can help develop our country, you choose to study Sharia law. Stay where you are. You won't be allowed back here." President Traore. And that is what he had said, apparently, in that video that was trending. Quickly, please.
When I got emotional on Friday night, I was crying for this country. A lot of you don't know why I was crying. And these are the reasons. In a day and age where we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence, technological developments, see what's happening. We're talking about putting Arabic studies into the curriculum. And people have been doing Arabic studies in the curriculum long ago. But this was the same country that removed history out of the curriculum.
Yes, it is.
So you can see the kind of thinking. That's why, you see, when I weep for my country, it's because, like Chinua Achebe said, there was a country. You thought it was a joke that Chinua Achebe wrote his last book, and he said there was a country. And this was a man that has believed so much in this country up to this time. And you are wondering, because I've seen a lot of reactions, people are saying all sorts, and Nigeria population was lesser than, that's why we can borrow World Bank money. Missing the point. We are wondering why the country has gone decrepit. See what they've done with the budgets. See how they destroyed the country. See how they were paying subsidies and still telling lies to people. So please, Oji,
we will.
You see, God has blessed us with everything, but God has not just blessed us with good leaders. But the question is, Oji, does God bless us with good leaders, or the society decide the kind of people they want to lead them?
All right, those are questions to be answered. But we will follow up on the story because I'm sure that there will be more dimensions to the story and, a response from the Bauchi State Governor.
Now you watch the video. We want to ask, what is Sharia? And why do these people care about Sharia? If you ask a layman people, they will say, oh, Sharia is just, a law that governs the culture of the Muslim. But anyway, I want you guys to watch this particular video of a foreign podcast on how they explain Sharia law, specifically in Nigeria. We'll be right back.
Most of northern Nigeria is controlled by Sharia law. under Sharia law, if you convert from Islam and become a Christian, that's a crime punishable by death under the blasphemy laws. So your family can either kill you themselves or they can hire somebody to kill you. I know that sounds like a foreign concept to us here in the West. Happens every day in northern Nigeria. So when somebody professes Christ or they get baptized or identifies as being a Christian,
they have to leave.
They have to leave.
Just have to leave.
Most of the time they have to leave. It's a death sentence. They're being hunted.
No, if a Muslim person watches, they will want to argue, oh, you are lying, that is not Sharia. Sharia is this. Do you know Sharia is about you getting married and the Sharia law protects your husband or your wife not to do this? Do you know the Sharia law said that a Muslim will not, they will want to paint the good part of the narrative of the importance of the Sharia law in the Muslim land. But wait a while. They travel from Nigeria to Saudi Arabia to study Sharia. Abi, now let's go to the Sharia class. I want us to watch a video of their Sharia tutor, their lecturer, the place they travel to learn this Sharia and what they are teaching them, so that it will just silence everyone that are arguing. I want us to watch.
Slavery is not something that Muslims should be ashamed of. Slavery in Islam is true. Prisoners of wars, non-Muslims, disbelievers, we enslave them. Oh, this is against human rights. This is human rights. How? He is a slave. He's like an animal being sold and bought and not having rights. Yes, but this is for his sake. I am amazed of people being dragged to paradise in chains. Who would be dragged in paradise in chains? Everybody goes to paradise willingly. The Prophet is giving us a metaphor. They were enslaved, so they were in chains. And these chains made them accept Islam and hence enter paradise as if they were dragged in.
This video, these are Sharia students. They went there to learn. They pick up pen and it's teaching them on how to enslave the unbeliever. Who are the unbeliever? People who are not Muslim. They're not telling you that people have right to practice their religion. No. They are telling you that it's just like a Christian coming to preach the word of God to you and say, Jesus loves you, wants you to know that Jesus died for you, and you are preaching. Now you said, oh, you are not interested. They leave you. No, this one, they will have to enslave you. Since you know 1 year, they will have to buy you. The Sharia law is also included that if you are a Muslim and you decide to say, oh, I'm tired of this religion, I don't want to practice, or I want to become a pagan, or I want to become a Christian, the Sharia law insists that you be put to death. They will not tell you those parts. The Sharia law also enforces these people to go from community to community where there are no Muslims and execute everybody that are there. That's why the Sharia law also taught them how to kidnap, take these people to the forest and demand ransom for the unbelievers. I know that not all Muslims, because when you go to the Muslim religion, as they see Orthodox, Anglican, Pentecostal, Evangelics, and Catholic in the body of Christ. Now, so they see different body in the Muslim. There are the good side of Muslim that knows that everybody have right to practice their religion. There are the good side of Muslim that embrace other religion and everybody lives peacefully, respect everybody. But the worst part of it, the tumor, are more bigger than the better one inside. The tumor inside are the one occupying every political office in Nigeria. The tumor inside are the one, it's just like in the Christian body now, the one that preach prosperity gospel, that's what we call big men of God. The one that perform fake miracle, those are the big men of God because they have the bigger congregation. But the one that preach the truth, the gospel, the death, burial, and the resurrection of Christ, the salvation of Christ, those ones, their church is always small. They will talk, no one will hear because on one go, those ones they perform fake miracle. Same also in the Muslim world. So I just want to use that religion to balance it so that people don't say, oh, you hate the Muslim. I love the Muslim. And when they want to do their salah, we they go there, go eat, we live together. But I don't know what's changed. In the twinkle of our eyes, things just change. And now they are buying themselves, Anyway, we are all saying this because we want a better country. So I want you guys to get that to your head. I love you guys. I'll be waiting for you guys in the comment section. If you love us, tell us your opinion regarding to this video. Do you think Sharia law is better? Do you think if there should be Sharia law, the Christians should also have their Crusader law? Everybody should have their own law. And if you're a Muslim, you are eating in the public. When Christians are fasting, they should punish you. Just like they created Islam to be punishing those that will be eating the northern part of Nigeria when the Muslims are fasting. I don't know how people come with that. Anyway, this art.
IBRAHIM Traoré is a symbol. And a symbol is part of the system. So what young people must realize that success is not an individual achievement. You achieve because you are part of a team. Traore is being heard as saying, you the neo-colonizers who have given us the short hand of the stick, you reap where you have not sown. You take our uranium, you take our resources, you take our minerals, and you give us a pittance. You are not going to do it anymore.